king's rat catcher. They said the king ruled over half a continent. Yet in the deep halls of his palace, another kingdom thrived, one of scratching, gnawing, and whispering teeth. When the candles guttered at night, the court could hear it beneath the feasts and sermons. The shuffle of paws through grain stores, the hiss of rats slipping behind tapestries. It was not the wars or the plague that first disturbed the monarch's sleep, but the sound of his own larder being devoured. Servants set traps, cats were brought in from the ports, even a priest was called to bless the cellars. Nothing silenced the scratching. Then, one winter, a small man arrived at the gate, claiming he could rid the palace of its vermin. He was barefoot, wrapped in burlap, and carried a bag that moved as if alive. The guards laughed until he poured out the contents of his sack. Dead rats, stiff and twisted. He placed them neatly in a line, then bowed low. "Give me a place to work," he said, "and no rat shall trouble his majesty again." The king, weary of superstition, granted him the darkest chamber below the kitchens. From there, the man began his craft. For days he never left that place. Servants heard scraping, whispering, and the clink of iron. The smell of vinegar and ash drifted upward. Within a fortnight, the rats vanished. From cellars, from stables, even from the moat. The cooks praised the miracle, and the king ordered the rat catcher paid and housed among the servants. Yet soon new sounds began. When the courtiers dined, they heard muffled cries through the floor. The steward said it was wind in the flues, but the noise came again, always at night, always from beneath the kitchens. The rat catcher kept to himself, pale and silent, emerging only to request scraps from the butcher. He kept his hands wrapped in cloth and his eyes on the ground. The queen's maid was the first to speak of the smell, a sharp, sour reek that crept from the drains. Then dogs refused to enter the scullery. When the guards forced open the door to the rat catcher's quarters, they found cages stacked to the ceiling, each filled with dead vermin preserved in salt. On the table lay an open ledger, pages covered in rows of names, not of rats, but of servants long dismissed or missing. The king ordered the man seized. He was brought before the court, trembling, his burlap robe stiff with filth. "What have you done?" the king demanded. The rat catcher bowed low. "Only what you asked, sire. I rid your halls of those who fed upon you." He would say no more. That night he was taken to the dungeon and locked away. When dawn came, the guards found the cell door open, the lock unbroken. Only his ledger remained, and beside it, a single gnawed bone. After that, the rats returned, slow at first, then in swarms. They filled the corridors, the kitchens, even the royal chapel. The king's household fled the palace, leaving their stores behind. In later years, travelers who passed the ruins spoke of a figure glimpsed at the windows. A thin man in rags, carrying a lantern that flickered with greenish light, moving through the corridors as if counting something unseen. The records call him Petra's Ratus, the royal pestmaster. His true name is forgotten. The palace itself still stands, though no one dares live there. When the wind rises, the villagers say they hear scratching behind the stones. A reminder that filth and hunger, once invited, never truly leave.